Good evening, viewers, wherever you are. I am your host today, Serina Aliujaju, joined by Dr. Henry D.R. Carroll, MRG, Senior Oxford trained lawyer, Solicitor General Emeritus of the Gambia, founder and senior law lecturer of the University of the Gambia from 2007 to date. Welcome, Dr. Carroll.
Thank you, Mr. Jaju.
How are you?
Fine.
Good. By the way, our today's discussions will be centered on the issue of the 3 years and 5 years and the presidential term limit and the Gambia we want, and also the issue of Yankuba Toure versus the TRRC. Dr. Carroll.
Yes, Mr. Jaju.
As a senior law lecturer and an Oxford trained lawyer for that matter, in the Gambia, we have a constitution which is believed to be the supreme book of the land.
Supreme law of the land.
Supreme law of the land, as stated on section 4. Section 4. However, based on your understanding of the constitutions, what is the presidential term limit based on the constitution of the Gambia?
Under the present constitution, 1997, it is made abundantly clear, it is stated in crystal clear terms, that the presidential term shall be for a period of 5 years. And in law, when they use the word shall, it means mandatory. When they use the word may, it's discretionary. That's not debatable, it's clear, it's 5 years.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, so now let's look at in this dimension. There are some acts which are also used in the country which some people are using to rely on. Are you saying now, despite the fact of all those acts, we are to go by the constitution?
And what are those acts?
There are many acts, by the way.
Name me a few.
Yeah. Okay, let's take for instance the issue of our protest. Section 25 says about the citizens have the legal right to protest. But yet still, there's other act, public order act, which is kind of contradict.
No, there is no contradiction. I mean, that's a very myopic interpretation. Under the Constitution, it's clearly stated that citizens have got a right to peaceful demonstration and without arms, right? When you go to that same chapter, it tells you that this right, all these rights are subject to the relevant law. And the relevant law here, as regards that right, as far as that right is concerned, is the Public Order Act. You know, that's what they call a clawback clause. You give a right here one hand and take part of it in the other hand. Although there's a principle of law which says that you cannot appropriate and reprobate. But that's the position of the law. The law gives you right, it gives you corresponding obligation and duty. And the two go together, hand in hand. So there's no contradiction.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, so meanwhile, of recent, we've heard that there is rumor going out of Gambians who intend to protest sometime in December. What do you have to say based on the law on those people who intend to protest?
Well, they intend to protest peacefully and without arms. The legal condition precedent which they must satisfy is to get a written permission from the Inspector General of Police. If they take to the streets without that permission, it's an illegal protest and they will face the full force of the law.
Well, I think, okay, since we are in democracy, the citizens have the legal right to demonstrate with or without a permit.
No, that's not true.
Why?
Even in other countries, a permit is required because there should be checks and balances. Because if you want to make a peaceful demonstration, you must tell the police, and you tell the police the route you are going to take. For very good reasons, of course. If you are taking a route across a school or a hospital, there may be school children coming out of school and there could be a stampede and it affects school children. And don't forget, the Gambia is a party to the UN Convention on the Rights of the Child. So you have to tell the police which route you intend to take, and they will even escort you for your own safety and to make sure you keep the peace. Not a carte blanche right. These rights go along with duties and obligation. That's what they call in jurisprudence the correlative theory. For every right, there's a duty. You cannot separate the two. They're inseparable.
Well, actually, yeah, that's your opinion, but yet still, some might say no. This is a democratic state. You don't need all this bureaucracy going to the police IGP to apply for permit. Yeah, some may say, okay, if citizens feel like protesting, they can protest since they are not in possession of arms or things that can jeopardize
Well, I'm putting it to you. You can set off with a peaceful demonstration and it end up becoming violent and uncontrollable. Some people are out of job, they're sitting unemployed, they see some demonstration, they just jump on the bandwagon. They don't know what it's all about, just to vent out their frustration on the system. So there should be checks and balances in place to make sure this is done orderly and legally to keep the peace.
That's interesting.
Well, that's the law. That's the law.
So now, are you saying that those people who intend to protest in December should not, or?
I'm not saying anything. What I'm saying is that whoever wants to get a peaceful demonstration without arms should go to the IGP for a permit. That's what the law says. And what the law is and what the law ought to be are different things. The law is the law until appealed, repealed, or amended. Period.
That's interesting. Okay, now, my question is, you know, you said about the present term limit is for 5 years.
Yes.
But however, if you could recall, there was agreement between the president and the citizens during the campaign.
There was no president. Biden was not president by that time.
Yes, but then...
He was head of a coalition of 7 political parties.
Indeed. Yes. And they agreed. And if you recall, a contract is a legal binding agreement between 2 or more people.
Yes.
And during the campaign, the president and his coalition team, they campaigned for the 3 years.
Yes.
But eventually today, the president said that no, we are to go by the constitution.
Yes.
Where was he then?
It's not that. Let's talk about the president. Let's talk about the document itself. It was not signed.
Really?
It was not signed by all the 7 political party leaders. And in law, whatever is not signed or completed is not legally binding.
So how so are you, the document was not signed?
I know it was not signed. Go and do your research.
How do you know?
And also that was the defense of non effectum in Latin, meaning not my deed. If you don't sign something, you cannot claim anything under it.
Okay, now, yeah, what I'm saying is, have you done your research to know that the document was signed?
I have unquestionable, reliable evidence that it was not signed. Period. Let's not go into that. So let's not go into that further. It was not signed, neither signed nor thumbprinted. It's a principle of law. A document has to be signed or thumbprinted for it to be legally binding. Even if you call it a gentleman's agreement, go to Google. It tells you it's an informal agreement between 2 or more parties, which is not legally enforceable. So either way, it's not enforceable.
Doctor,
yes.
Yeah, I'm also putting to tell you that many people say the document was signed, and you are here saying that it was not signed.
I'm sure it was not signed. I want to go into that.
Were you part of the campaign team?
I'm a politically neutral person. Come to the next question.
Interesting, viewers.
Yes.
By the way, today I'm here with Dr. Henry Carroll, senior Oxford trained lawyer. So now, doctor, some days ago at the TRRC, which was commissioned with the objective of looking into human rights violations of the ex-president.
Alleged human rights violations.
Exactly, of President Jammeh and his associates. However, there was this kind of tussle between Yankuba Toure and the commission members.
Yes.
What is your view with regards to the whole scenario?
Well, in a nutshell, they served about 3 subpoenas to Mr. Yankuba Toure, according to the chairman and my learned friend, Mr. Esafal. The first 2 were rescheduled. So Mr. Toure not appearing for the first 2 was not Mr. Toure's fault. But the 3rd subpoena was issued and he appeared finally. Now, during the interrogation, Mr. Yankuba Toure got up and said, sorry, the last question which Mr. Fall, my learned friend, put to Mr. Yankuba Toure was, and I quote, what were the problems in the army in 1994? Unquote. And Mr. Yankuba Toure got up and flared up like a volcano and said he's not going to answer any more questions because he has immunity by the Constitution. That was a mistake on his part. He should have intelligently asked Mr. Fall, my learned friend, what month or time in 94 specifically are you alluding to? Because if Mr. Fall was alluding to a period before 1994, July 22nd, then he has a duty to answer that question. Because that doesn't fall within the immunity clause period, which is from 22nd July 94 to 96. So the fact that he refused to answer, meaning he can be charged for obstructing the commission in its operations under the TRC Act 2017.
Doctor, Well, earlier ago, you mentioned about constitution being the supreme law of the land.
Land, yes.
Okay, but there's another clause in the constitution of the Gambia which says all the junta members are granted immunity. So I think Yankuba has a point in that case with regards to that clause.
He has no point. Let me first tell you, if you go to the constitution, they have what they call the second schedule. Okay? Now the second schedule, there's a paragraph which reads, and I quote, that's paragraph 17. It says, the National Assembly shall have no power to pass a bill to amend or repeal this paragraph, paragraph 17, or paragraphs 11, 12, 13, or 14 of the schedule. Right? Now, this clause was there before the amendment took place. Okay? Now, that amendment took place in 2001. By the way, this constitution, when it was propounded, I think the chairman was a Ghanaian gentleman called Honorable Mr. Justice Gilbert Quay. I used to attend their sessions in the present premises of the law school, from our old parliament. They sat there. When the draft constitution was prepared and taken to a referendum, there was no such immunity clause.
You mean referendum?
Before it was taken to referendum, the draft constitution.
A minute, okay.
Yes.
Yeah, when you talk about referendum, what does that mean?
Oh, they were debating. Let's take first. There was no immunity clause in the draft constitution. Are we together?
Okay.
Okay? When they took it to referendum. Is that very clear?
Yeah.
And then it was in 2001 that this immunity clause was inserted in the constitution. And that insertion or amendment was a flagrant violation of chapter 17,
section or chapter?
Section or chapter 17 of the second schedule. That's the first point. And these chapters mentioned here, 11, 12, 13, and 14, are entrenched clauses. What does entrenched clause mean? In the Constitution, you have two types of clauses. You have general clause and entrenched clause. Now, a general clause can easily be amended by the Minister of Justice going to Parliament. You table the motion for amendment, and then 2/3 of MPs vote in favor of the amendment. Is done. That's the end of the story. But for an entrenched clause, you have to do that and then go the extra legal mile to get a referendum conducted by the IEC chairman. In the case of this amendment for this immunity clause, that was never done.
Well,
yes.
Interesting. Doctor, yeah, you mentioned about the referendum with regards to that clause. But some are saying that there was nothing like referendum with regards to that clause. And you, as a senior Oxford trained lawyer, you mentioned that there was a referendum. Now, which is which?
A referendum for the draft constitution. Don't get me wrong. You know, before that clause about immunity clause can be amended, by the way, that clause is entitled legal proceedings. It's an entrenched clause. There should have been a referendum before it to be fully and legally amended.
Okay, now.
You understand now?
I get you, doctor. Okay. By the way, as a lawyer, do you agree that our constitution is just a toilet paper?
No, that's not true. Why do you say so?
Of course, doctor. Because this constitution was the one used by Yahya Jammeh to suppress the citizen for his interest. The constitution should be there to protect the whole citizens, being the president and the citizens. But unfortunately, during Jammeh's time, people like you, a graduate from Oxford for that matter, under your watch, Jammeh used the constitution to suppress the citizens.
There has been several amendments, but that does not mean it was not a legal enforceable document. That's not true. It's legal, up to now, it's still legal enforceable. Right now, we have the CRC, which is very this constitution, but it's still illegal. It's still the law for now.
Yes. No, I'm saying is, do you agree that this constitution itself is unconstitutional?
It is very constitutional. Why is it unconstitutional? Why?
Doctor. Okay. Now, if I may ask you this question.
Yes.
What is the constitution?
The constitution is the highest law of the land, endorsed by the electorate. And the electorate voted yes for it and entered into force.
Now, what about in this case, Jammeh used his powers to force the MPs to sign.
Are you sure about that? I don't know about that. I don't know about that. All I know is that the then parliamentarians, who are mostly APRC ruling party MPs, amended the constitution. Yes.
No, what I'm saying now is...
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, you know, we have had even the ongoing TRRC that even many MPs were beaten and arrested during Jammeh's era.
Were allegedly beaten and arrested.
Exactly, during Jammeh's era for failing to approve bills passed.
Yes, if those people have got evidence of what they are saying, they come to the TRC. Law of evidence says he who alleges must prove. They can say talking is cheap.
Doctor, what I'm saying,
yes.
during Jammeh's time, you know how powerful Jammeh was. It will be very hard for the MPs to reject the bill which were passed by Jammeh's ministers. Do you agree?
Well, I was not in parliament, and I don't know how they vote. But I'm putting it to you, if they are voting by secret ballots, there is nothing to fear, because nobody will know how you voted to victimize you, to give you reprisals. You get my point?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Doctor, still now, I am on the view that this constitution is totally unconstitutional.
Why?
And it's just a piece of toilet paper.
No, it's not. That's seditious. You can be charged for that. That's seditious. This is the law of the land.
Doctor, but it's my opinion.
No, it's a wrong opinion.
No, I am also based on Section 25. Freedom of speech.
No.
Of
Freedom
course.
of speech has got legal limitations. Freedom of speech and expression has got legal limitations. You have the law of sedition. You know about that? Go and Google it or buy the criminal code and read it. Of course. Freedom of speech has got legal limitations. Even in America and UK, they also have sedition laws. And they are among the best democracies in the world. So don't misinterpret freedom of speech and expression.
Well, by the way,
yes.
If you want to call, you can kindly call on 763-5463. 763-5463. Doctor.
Yes.
Okay. Now, with regards to a person like Dr. Henry Carroll, I believe you once served as the Solicitor General of the Gambia for 2 years.
Yes.
Okay, what was your duty as a Solicitor General?
Well, Solicitor General is the Deputy Chief Legal Advisor of the Gambia government. You are next to the Minister and Attorney General.
Okay, good. But was it not during your time when Jammeh used you?
Jammeh never used me. That's not true. With other statement. Jammeh never used me. That's it. That's the derogatory. He never used me. That's not true. I disagree.
Well,
don't talk like that.
Okay, Doctor. But
okay.
I believe during your time there was some bad laws which were passed during your time. Oh, are you saying that there was no bad law which was passed during your time?
Is that the fault of the Solicitor General? The Solicitor General goes to Parliament to table bills. It's the Attorney General and Minister of Justice who does that.
But since you don't
seem to know the procedure.
Yes.
Yes. So don't blame the SG for that, please.
Now, since you are the advisor, what was
Deputy advisor?
Exactly.
Thank you.
Yeah.
There was a chief advisor. You don't even know the procedure. You know the hierarchy. So I see you are eager to pick on me. But don't do that wrong. You are very wrong. There is a hierarchy. The Attorney General and Minister of Justice is the chief legal advisor. And the Solicitor General is the deputy chief advisor. Thank you.
By the way, what was your major achievement during your 2 years in office as the Solicitor General?
Well, I think I can't recall them off the cuff. There are many achievements. I think before that time, I had cause to go and defend the Gambia government in a human rights case in Libya. It was about this question of the African Commission on Human People's Rights, right? There was a Ghanaian NGO called Action Aid, it's called Legal Aid, which took the Gambia government to court for allegedly violating the African Charter on Human People's Rights. So I had to go to Libya to defend the government, and I won the case hands down, because I mean, what happened was that before the Ghanaian NGO can take us to the commission, they must exhaust what they call national remedies, and that was never done. So my argument was that the case was not admissible. It was thrown out without going to full trial. It was in Libya. I forgot the year. It's a long time ago. Yes. It was a gentleman who was here. Remember Malawi Guest House?
Sure.
So many years ago. There was a gentleman who was allegedly abusing a young boy called Isaac Banda from I think it was from East Africa. So this Isaac Banda went to Madame Zotembo, who was the predecessor of Anna Foster, and complained. And then Zoe Tembo never told us anything as a government. You hired an NGO in Ghana to file an actual lawsuit against the Gambia. So when I went and saw the case, I realized that definitely it had no merit. Because before you go take to an outside tribunal, you must exhaust in-country remedies. If you don't do that, the case cannot stand on any leg.
Yeah, so by the way, how was it working under Jammeh? How was it working under him?
Like how?
Because many people see Jammeh as a dictator.
I don't condemn people. That's my policy. I don't condemn people. Now, what I am saying, if somebody does good, you give me the credits.
So are you saying that Jammeh was a good leader?
If you don't, you are being political. I told you not to be political.
No, yeah.
No, you are debating. I'm not saying no. You are being very naughty now. Okay, please.
Okay, but I think there's another caller who is
yes.
on the line.
Okay.
Hello, caller. Hello.
I just want to ask this grateful lecturer that why are they going to charge you for saying that is the constitution is a piece of whatever.
Wait, Mike.
I just want to ask him why did he say that you are going to be charged for that?
Okay, good.
You say what?
No, she's asking because when
I know who is she, by the way.
Yeah, by the way, who are you, please, and where are you calling from?
It doesn't even make sense because it's a piece of paper. It's a rubbish. That's why.
You say what? Huh?
Hello, can you
identify yourself?
Hello.
And it's right to say that.
You say what?
Can you hear me? Yeah, I think the network.
Ask her who she is.
Well, the network is bad. So what she was saying was, I mentioned here that the constitution is a piece of paper, and which she is also trying to validate. And you say they can sue me for sedition.
You can be charged, not sue.
Can be charged.
Yes, of course. What are you saying?
And she's asking now, why do you say so? And where did the authorities have the power to sue me for saying such a word?
Not sue. You are misinterpreting legal terms. Sue is a civil action.
Sure.
Charge is a criminal action. Okay? Now, seditious intent, and I quote authoritatively, is defined by the criminal code as words or conduct which arouses public hatred and contempt against the person of the president and the Gambia government as by law established. So this is the highest law of the land, and the government operates on this book. So if you castigate this book without just what you're saying, you can be charged for sedition. Period. I know it's illegal, that's why. I don't understand.
Doctor.
By the way, any more caller, let them say who they are and answer the question. Okay? Get it straight. Okay.
Please call us. You can call on 7635
and identify who you are.
463 7635 463. Today I am here with Dr. Henry Carroll, senior Oxford trained lawyer. Good, Doctor.
Identify yourself.
Okay, and by the way, when you are calling, kindly identify yourself.
Thank you.
Doctor, okay, the other issue I want to bring back to your attention is with regards to the issue of these 3A's protest. I think it's a topic that we really need to discuss a lot, and people need to be enlightened about the issue. Again, so those people, and there are now two groups which are to emerge, the 5 years and the 3 years.
They are not yet to emerge, they are already in existence.
Exactly.
Yes.
So now these two groups, which one is more legal with regards to their formation? Because someone is saying that
they are both legal in the sense that they are both exercising their right of association, guaranteed by Chapter 4 of the Constitution. But the one which says advocating for 5 years is speaking the law as it is. As I said earlier on, the presidential term is for 5 years, and that's negotiable.
Doctor, yes,
that's fixed.
But now,
yes.
The president, before, he said he will serve 3 years.
Yeah, but
let me come. He said he will serve 3 years, and after the 3 years, he will hand over power. So that is a contract. So now me as a citizen...
Not a contract, it was not signed.
Okay, but now as a citizen, can I sue the president for giving false information?
Not false information. You cannot be sued. That's immunity whilst in office. Under this constitution, the president whilst in office cannot be sued or charged. You don't know that?
It's not the same clause.
No, it's a different clause. No. Banned by the constitution. It's there. He has presidential immunity. Yes.
That's interesting. By the way, the number to call is 7635463. Doctor, the other question is with regards to the human rights issues. Jammeh was seen by many as a dictator who abused people, especially the sovereign citizens. And now we are now in the new Gambia, and some believe we are in a democratic state. How will you compare the Barrow's administration to Jammeh with regards to the human rights issues?
I think the Barrow government is doing very well. They are new, but they are having teething problems, but they are doing appreciably well.
And what are those teething problems, by the way?
Teething problems is to establish themselves and to implement the development plan. There was an article last week in Standard giving credit to the plan. You didn't see it in Standard last week? No. Of course, taking credit to them. Rome was not built in a day. So things have to go at a steady pace to get to where they ought to be. So if you criticize somebody too much, the person gets provoked and he loses confidence. And that's not what we want. We want people to deliver, not to frustrate them from delivering.
Good. That's quite interesting there. So now you, as a senior lawyer, if Yankuba asks you to represent him at the courts, will you?
I will not, because I'm a Gambia government lawyer. But I suspect that he has an inexperienced lawyer who gave him bad advice, because he really misinterpreted the Constitution altogether. But I'm writing an article about this next week. Once it comes out, he will understand exactly. The clause is there, but he cannot benefit from it, because that amendment was illegally done. And as we speak, there is a Supreme Court decision on this matter called Honorable Kemesen Jame versus the Attorney General. That was decided on the same year, 2001, when this amendment was made. And the then Attorney General was the late Pape Chasin Seka, our Daniel friend. So the records are there. So, I mean, if it was done correctly and properly, then we have no problem. It is there by default. So one cannot rely on it. And there's a Latin maxim which says, ex topi causa non oritur actio.
What is that?
That means that no right or benefit can be derived from an illegal action. Another maxim is, he who comes to equity must come with clean hands. So if you circumvent the law, you don't follow due process, then that's not an amendment. It's just a purported amendment.
Yeah, I think, that's valid my point that our constitution is a toilet paper.
If you talk like that, that's delicious. Just say you disagree with what is there, but what's the paper is an insult. You don't talk like that. As a responsible journalist, you don't talk like that.
Yeah, but by the way, many Gambians have the belief that our constitution is unconstitutional and it's just a piece of paper. Doctor, you have to agree.
Those are unenlightened Gambians. You are educated, you are a journalist, you gone to school, at least to high school. Are you a graduate? I don't know your academic background, but you don't talk like that. Don't talk like that. Because you don't understand the Constitution, you cannot run it down like that. That's seditious. That's the point I'm making. This is a technical document. It's very complicated. When you read my article next week, then you understand what I'm talking about. It's not a straightforward matter at all. You have to do what they call cross-referencing. You read this section, you read another section, you read the middle, holistically, and then conclude. It's not an easy job. It's straightforward, not a straightforward matter, as some people think. No, I disagree with that. The Constitution is still in force. The CRC is now revising it. When you have another new Constitution, there'll be another referendum, and then this one will go to history. Then the new one takes us to the Third Republic. The Constitution is the vehicle, or is the interregnum, which links the gap between this and the other republic. We're now going through a transition as a nation to the Third Republic.
That's quite...
So this book is still valid, so don't water it down. It is still our law as we speak. Until the new one comes, you go to a referendum, it is voted in, that one is promulgated, then we have a new constitution.
Well, Doctor, I think this issue is kind of confusing.
Not confusing at all.
No, you are saying that it's a Supreme book, but yet still there's a clause that Yankuba and Co. are trying to die on, and still you are saying that clause is null.
You don't get my point.
I got your point, Doctor.
Let me read it for you again, okay? I'm referring to the second schedule, clause 17. The National Assembly shall have no power to pass a bill to amend or repeal this paragraph, that paragraph 17, or paragraphs 11, 12, 13, or 14 of this schedule. Now, what Yankuba was relying on was, I think, paragraph 13, which is titled Legal Proceedings. And that's the one which purportedly gives immunity to all AFPRC people. Understand? I say purportedly because if you analyze it, you can know that it does not apply to them because it was illegally done. And those paragraphs are entrenched clauses. And if you understand constitutional law, for you to amend that, there's a two-tier test to pass. One, you go to parliament, and two, you get a referendum. So there was no referendum for that, that clause, that entrenched clause. The entrenched clause If it's a general clause, the Minister of Justice goes to Parliament and table the motion for amendment. He gets 2/3 of the people saying yes, the MPs. The Speaker will ask those in favor say aye, and they say aye. If the ayes are more than the nay, then he say the ayes have it. Down comes the hammer. That's the end of the matter. It's amended. But if it's an entrenched clause, you have to do that and go the extra legal mile and conduct a referendum by the IEC chairman. That was not done for amending this section. You get the point?
So now, if such was not done, why was it inside the constitution?
It's a part of the revised laws of the Gambia. So it's amended there. But they put their amended in 2001. Act number 2 of 2001. It's a footnote there. They are going through a history. You know, between the 22 years, this thing was amended about 100 times.
Really?
Yes. So, and those amendments are part of our law until they are repealed. But there are footnotes. They're all there. Go you buy it and go through it. So this 2001 amendment, right, was seriously castigated by the then Supreme Court in the same year 2001, in which it said that amendment is not legal. It's unconstitutional because they didn't follow due process. And then they violated that same paragraph I quoted for you just now.
Yes. So since it is unconstitutional, why is it still inside the constitution?
It's part of our body of laws. It's part of it. You just buy the book. You see there, Act number 2 of 2001.
I have the soft copy, by the way.
Huh?
I have the soft copy, by
you have
the
a
way.
copy, okay. Get a hard copy. It's more user friendly.
Yeah, by the way, okay, don't you think so? Yankuba was advised by another senior lawyer.
I cannot say senior lawyer. No senior lawyer, what he sought. We tell him to say what he said. I don't think it was a senior lawyer. Maybe it's a young, inexperienced lawyer. And in the law of tort or civil law, lawyers owe their clients a duty of care. If you give your lawyer bad advice and he or she relies on it and gets into trouble, he or she can sue you for professional negligence. And there are 2 cases for that. Regina versus versus Worsley, and the other one is Safi Ali versus Sidney Michel. Yes. These are established law of tort cases. They're in the books. They are reported. So I don't know who that lawyer is. And in fact, if that lawyer gave you a bad advice, you didn't call his name, now you're in trouble. If it was 1-to-1, there was no recording, no third party, you can deny it. But if it's put in writing, you can use that to sue him or her. But if it's 1-to-1, orally, how can you sue him? You can deny it. So in my article, I'm saying, if what Mr. Toure said emanated from a lawyer's advice, then this is the remedy. You can sue that lawyer for redress. As a competent lawyer, you do your research before you advise people. Because once you give bad advice, it go like it never come back again. And the person relies on it to his detriment, he has the right to turn back on you and ask for compensation.
Good. So now, for instance, you are not the government lawyer, and Yankuba appoints you as.
You have said so before.
Yes. Now, what will be your advice?
That's not possible. I'm government lawyer. Don't say that. Please, I want to ask that question. I'm going to ask you. You're coming back again. It's irrelevant.
No.
Please, come again.
No, I'm saying is, in this case, you are not the government lawyer, and you are a private lawyer.
No, forget about that, please. I want to answer that question before. Why you repeat the question?
No, because many are asking that question.
No, that's not relevant. Come on, bring another question, please.
Interesting. By the way, today...
Exactly. You're not trying to repeat old points.
Yeah.
I've already told you.
If you want to call, please kindly call 7635463. I am here with Dr. Henry Carroll, senior Oxford trained lawyer. Doctor, what a big title. By the way, okay, I want to ask you this question because many people want to know your educational background, where you passed through, because many young people are looking up to you because you said you are one of the senior Oxford trained lawyers. Can you please tell us a little bit about your educational background and however you attained your PhD?
My PhD is honoris causa. It's honorary Doctor of Law from Commonwealth Open University. I studied law at Buckland University College in Oxford, and I have a University of London degree in law. So I studied in Oxford City. My university is in Oxford. Oh. They say in Latin, quid plantator solus sedit. What's attached to the ground goes with the ground. What's attached to the soil goes with the soil.
Oh, so technically, you are not graduate of Oxford University.
I never said so. Don't go down that road.
Yes. But now, why that word, senior Oxford trained lawyer?
I'm a senior lawyer. When I was called to the bar, you were in
Yes.
primary school, I'm sure.
That's true. But the
Yes.
word Oxford means now a person, a graduate of Oxford University itself.
Look, I've told you that you refuse to answer. You to understand. Oxford train means university in Oxford. Oxford University train went to Oxford University. My grandfather's brother went to Oxford University. Before they was in Carroll. He's after the criminal code. And when you go to Banjul, ever they call Picton Street, now called Davidson Carroll Street. He's an Oxford University trained lawyer. There's a difference.
That's quite interesting.
Yes,
Dr.
okay.
Carol.
Go and Google, you see it. Okay.
I will sorry, Google it. Don't watch it. If you want to call, can you please contact 7635463, 7635463.
And say who you are.
In case, if you want to advertise with us, you can also call the same number. Okay, I'm trying to check the comments so that I can read it to you for their questions. Someone is suggesting that Alma Mater, he said, not Tal, Alma Mater.
Tulia.
Yes, he said the UDP fought for this immunity clause in the constitution since 2001. Do you heard of that news?
Act 2 of 2001 was the amendment which inserted this immunity clause in the constitution. But before that was done, I repeat, we have paragraph 17 of schedule 2.
Another call, please. Call on the line.
Okay.
Hello, caller. Who are you and where are you calling from, please?
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, can I just...
Hello.
Yeah, hello, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you, sir. And you?
Yeah, I'm good. Doctor.
Doctor?
Yes?
Yeah, hello. To say, the 3 years contract, my father has to be it's not
Mike.
signed, so it's therefore not binding.
Yes.
Mike.
Yeah,
Not very clear. Can you amplify it?
lawyer, but what we are taught in school and you guys have taught us that the contract can be binding even without being signed. Even orally, it can be binding.
Can you hear you?
He said it has to be. It has to be orally can be binding. I disagree.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. I know you are a layman, so I'll excuse you. You know, a contract can be oral or written. That's true, right? But it has to be signed or thumb printed, because the contracting parties, by signing or thumb printing, accepting the contents of the contract. It's an obligation. So without you signing or thumb printing, meaning that you have no responsibility for the contents. And in fact, you cannot even enforce the content. That's the point I'm making. Google it and see. Yes, it doesn't know it. Let me see. Who is the one party? You call his name?
Tamiru. Tamiru.
Taberu.
Yeah.
What's
Not Tamiru though. The first name is Tamiru.
Huh?
The first name is Tamiru.
A nickname?
Yep.
Let's tell me call their real name, please.
Sure.
I don't want any pen names here. Okay, come on, insult you with a pen name. You cannot sue them. Not so? Okay, thank you.
Doctor, but why are you always using this word to sue them, to sue them?
It's my legal right to sue when I'm offended. Under this constitution, every person has got a right to petition the executive or to go to court for protection of his rights. It's there. It's your right to go to court. Nobody can stop that. If somebody tampers on your rights, get a lawyer and go to court. What are you going to do? You go and fight them physically. Then they will charge you for affray, fighting in public. It's the option you have. If you go and fight them physically, you will be charged and taken to court for affray, fighting in public. You know about that? Okay, so this is a civilized way to go about things.
And by the way, okay, another caller.
Yes.
Hello, caller. Who are you and where are you calling from?
Hi, I'm calling from Washington, D.C. My name is Aliu Mansouri.
Okay, Aliu, how are you?
Ali what?
I'm all right, thanks. I just want to ask...
Ali what?
Aliu Ture.
Okay.
No, Aliu Mansouri.
Aliu Mansouri.
Okay.
Listen, I just want to ask your guest if the
You have to amplify this, please. To make it easier to understand. I cannot still myself listening.
Hello?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, I just want to ask your guest, has the document that was agreed upon by the 7 opposition political group, had they signed that document, would it still have trumped the constitution?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
No, listen first. Who's talking?
It's Dundee. It's
Are you done?
Signed it, very well, different.
Hello?
Yeah, that's the question. Let me rephrase my question again. Had the 7 political parties actually signed the document, because I've overheard your guest saying earlier that the document wasn't signed by every political party. Had the 7 political parties signed the document agreeing that the president would only assume power for 3 years as against the 3 years that has been stipulated in the Constitution, would that signed document have trumped what been stipulated as the Constitution?
Okay. Good question.
Okay, thank you, by the way.
Now the question is, the 7 heads of those political parties, had they, and of course there was independent candidates, the president, vice president, of course, had they signed that document, whether it be enforceable today? The answer is no. Why no? Because when you study contract law, there's a difference between a void contract and a voidable contract. Now, a void contract is one which is void from the beginning, ab initio, because this is something contradicting the Constitution, Section 4. A voidable contract is one which is valid at inception until declared null and void by a court of competent jurisdiction. And therefore submitting, to answer his question, that even if that agreement was signed, it will still not be legally enforceable, because from the word go, it was an illegal contract. It contradicted the Constitution from day one.
Really?
Thank you. Yes, of course.
That's interesting. Those who are asking, the number to call is 7635463. 7635463.
That was an interesting question.
Yeah, let's wait because we have 5 minutes to go. If you want to make a call to talk to the doctor, kindly call 7635463. 7635463. Hello, caller.
Doctor.
Who are you, please? And where are you calling from?
Yeah, I'm Lamin.
Oh, Lamin. Welcome.
I mean what?
Lamin what?
Lamin Sise.
Oh, Lamin Sise. Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
I mean, you say Trust Bank? No.
Hello, Lamin.
Yeah. Doctor, if
Acoustics are bad.
Is it that wrong?
now, how are we going to hold our politicians accountable if they are telling us something and again? Hello?
Hello, I'm here. Go ahead.
Yeah, how can we hold them to account? Like if they are telling us something and they are doing something different.
Okay, good question.
Every time, yes. You know.
Okay.
Well, I think, what he is trying to explain is how we can hold our politicians accountable if they are saying 2 different words. That is Barrow during the campaign period. They campaigned for that 3 years, and now he's now talking.
You never said about Barrow. Don't call Barrow. You never mention Barrow. Don't talk about that, please. You only said politicians.
Exactly.
Okay?
Yeah. But
now,
precisely the coalition, they campaigned for the.
You didn't talk about that. You have misinterpreted what he's saying. I have what he said. He said, how do we hold our politicians accountable when they say one thing and do another? Okay? To answer his question, under this constitution, we have what they call petition of recall. Right? For example, in America, I'll give you a good example. Donald Trump, during his campaign trail, said if he wins the election, he's going to build a wall to block Mexicans from entering America. He's now doing that right now.
Really?
It's only about that. Of course, yes. So if politicians go on the campaign trail and promise A, B, and C, especially MPs, and then they fail to do it, those in the constituency can sign a petition of recall and go to the IEC chairman, who will order a by-election. We say a certain amount who has to sign. I forgot the amount. About 70% or 60%. Yes, go ahead.
Have enough time. Hello, caller.
Yeah, hello.
Who are you and where are you calling from, please?
Well, I am Suleiman, calling from the UK.
Okay, Suleiman. Suleiman what? What's your name again?
Suleiman Ba.
Suleiman Ba. Oh, Suleiman. How are you?
Yes.
Good, welcome.
Yes, I just wanted to have a few words with Doctor.
Yeah.
I just wanted to bring him up to date regarding his comment on sedition laws existing in British laws till now.
Was it?
Which is no longer
This sedition laws.
Yeah, okay.
no longer a crime or an offense under British law. It's replaced with a Justice and Conduct Act. Yeah, so apart from that, I think regarding the constitutionality of the 3-year, 5-year contradictory debate, what I want to put to Doctor is that is a democratic obligation for Barrow to deliver what he promised to the Gambian people, which is really different from a legal framework, but it was Barrow's responsibility to create that legal framework to accommodate his promise to the electorate. That is a democratic obligation that is fulfilled. So basically, those are my few words on that. Interesting show, though. Keep it up.
Thank you, Suleiman Bokar Ba.
He said what?
Did you hear what he said?
No, yeah, very well.
Actually, hello, he was talking about the issue of this. See, those of the network was breaking, so I couldn't hear what he said, unfortunately. Suleiman, you can kindly please call back because the network was breaking.
Very poor, yes.
The network is very poor over here and we are unable to get you loud and clear. Numbers to call, please, are 7635463, 7635463. We have 5 minutes to go. I think most of them are talking about this intermediate act.
What?
The intermediation. Okay, second back. Hello. 63. Hello. The number to call is 7635463. We have 3 minutes to go. 7635463. Let's give them time, 2 minutes. We see. Okay. Hello, Suleiman.
Yes, well, you did that you did not hear me clearly, but I hope this time around you are hearing me clearly.
Can you? Are you?
It's better.
Can you hear me clearly now?
Yes.
Well, what I was saying is I want to bring it to Dr. Carroll's attention that sedition is no longer a crime in the UK. It's been taken out of British law. What they have, that has been replaced with the Justice and Conduct Act. I just want him to take note of that. They also have a Defamation Act. That is completely different from criminal sedition, which is in the Gambian law. I want him to take note of that. Is that very clear?
I'm Googling it right now.
Fine.
Mr. Ba, I'm Googling that right now.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, hold on.
Yeah?
I'm Googling it. Hold on.
Okay. Go ahead.
Yeah. Is sedition, SEDITI, sedition, part, PART, of
Right. So how is it?
British law. Hold on. Hold your horse. British Law, L-E-W.
Doctor.
Well, Mr. Ba, luckily for you, the server is down and there is no reply.
Okay.
But even what you are saying is right. We are not bound to follow Britain or America because we are an independent sovereign state among the Committee of Nations.
No, well, I am sure you understand that the Gambian laws are modified British statute.
Yes, by and large, yes. Mostly before independence, we have what they call the reception statute. But after independence, we have our own body of national jurisprudence.
Yes, that's right. But you know that the Gambian court still applies statutes within the common law legal jurisdiction.
I know that very well. But what I'm telling you is that Gambia as an independent sovereign state is not bound to follow what other superpowers are doing.
No, I believe you've got me and I've got you very clearly. What I was saying
Yeah.
is, just to rectify you,
Yeah.
sedition is no longer a criminal offense in the British.
Well, I've Googled it, but there's no reply. Mr. Jaju can confirm that, you see? Not so?
Perhaps I think Mr. Jaju should also tell you that I am also a legal specialist.
You're also a lawyer.
Indeed, he is.
Okay, you are my learned friend.
Thank you, sir.
Maybe you are my learned junior.
Yes. Interesting discussion, though. Thank you very much.
Okay, God bless you. Thank you. Okay.
Thank you, Suleiman Bokar Ba, for your call. Thank you once more again.
Yeah.
The number to call is 7635463. We are about to wrap up. Number to call is 7635463. Wherever you are. Okay, by the way, this is the end of the show. Thank you very much, Dr. Carol, for your time.
My pleasure.
Another time.
My pleasure.
Thank you.